What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the ultimate guide to Dark Souls 2, and of course we're going to be covering Harvest Valley.
So this place is pretty short actually, and it's relatively easy, however quite integral to the guide because you do get a few very key items in this one place, such as a fragrant branch of yore, which is the first one you get, which we actually need for the next part of the guide. So this is the first time you actually get one, if you didn't do the Lost Sinner before this.
Yeah, and there's also the notable NPC Gavlan and Stone Trader Cloan as well.
Which, here she is.
And so this is Cloan. Now, she sells quite a lot of things, but first thing you want to do is exhaust her dialogue and get her to move, because she goes back to Medulla. If you kill her right now, she will drop a Pale Stone. But at this point, when you meet her in Harvest Valley, she will only sell like a few scarce items, but after you've done Iron Keep, she'll move on to unlimited Titanite shards, 10 large shards. After you've done Drangliat Castle, she'll unlock a whole host of items, including unlimited large Titanite shards, as well as a few other sort of infusion materials. But
yeah.
After King's Ring, once you get King's Ring, is when you unlock her entire I suppose, supply.
Yeah.
She get like unlimited everything, but once you've beaten the Chandra, she also sells unlimited chunks.
So that means you can pretty much upgrade any weapon you want after the Chandra.
+9, yeah. I should mention though that the infusion stuff that she has, like her like Fire Drake Stone, Dark Night Stone, that sort of stuff, she only sells a maximum of 3 of them, and the same for Twinkling Titanite and Petrified Dragonbone, the maximum of 3.
The last thing is if you buy 20,000 souls worth of stuff off her, she gives you a Twinkling Titanite.
One twink.
So this guy is called a Bane Digger. Now if you've got the longsword, he is retardedly easy, just poke away at him. However, he will do insane amounts of damage if
he will one-shot you sometimes.
Yeah, but if you get hit with that, then you're very unlucky, clearly. Now there's a bunch of items down here, and you might as well collect items just collect all these items whilst you're poisoned.
Yeah.
Because if you might as well just not waste green blossoms, you know. And
poison mosses, you mean?
Yeah, poison mosses.
But I mean, there's a load of stuff down here that isn't too important. The one important item is the Titanite chunk we grabbed just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you definitely want to get here. And of course, there is also Lonesome Gavlan, who we're going to go and say hi to in just a moment. Now, the skeletons that are here drop the same as the skeletons in Huntsman's Copse or Undead Purgatory, whatever you want to title it. Like, they'll drop the falchion or whatever it is that they've got on them.
Generally, most of the enemies will drop the same stuff
that they've got, yeah.
Like, if they're in one area, they'll drop generally the same stuff.
So that was a fragrant branch.
Yep.
And I can't remember what's in this chest, but this is Gavlan. Now, if you kill Gavlan, he will give you he will drop the Gurm Great Axe, or if you spend 16,000 souls, he will give you it if you select the talk option. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to buy his entire supply of poison arrows and try and spend as many souls as we can with him.
Now, if you talk to him, he'll also move to Doors of Faris. Now, you want him to move to Doors of Faris because then he will sell unlimited of his poison equipment. So.
Yeah, he'll sell unlimited poison arrows, poison moss. He sells pretty much everything he has in his inventory. He sells unlimited of. Plus, it's handy to have him there because you just go to the bonfire and you can just walk right to him. There's no enemies for you to run past basically either, so it's not really a big deal. Now, all we need to do now is move on now that we've cleared up this area full of more or less useless items, because it is mainly Fading Souls, which is a 50 soul packet. So.
Well, I mean, we did get a Fragrant Branch of Yore and a Fire Seed, which are helpful. Remember, Fire Seeds are used to upgrade your Pyromancy Flame at Rosebeth or Carhillion.
Yeah, and Hexing Urns, quite handy.
Basically just a Hex Firebomb.
Yeah, we don't use them too much, but I mean, if there's anything that's weak to dark, then do go ahead, feel free to rip them to pieces.
Now, we're not going to bother with these two enemies here because they can't hit you while you're up in that top platform, and especially if you're quick about things.
Yeah, like their actual hit cone is quite strange in terms of height and how low it can go as well. Like, at a distance, you can pretty much walk under their little orb things as well, so sometimes they just can't touch you. It's just a design flaw, really.
So we're just going to open up that gate and then just drop down and head round, because it just saves time fighting two enemies that are ultimately, they don't even drop anything. So.
And of course, you've seen a lot of the prisoners there. We already went over their drops before in the last video, so
yeah,
nothing important anyway. But we're just going to quickly sit at this bonfire, and then we should be going on to wrap up the rest of the items in this area.
Yeah, so we're up here is another I think there's another Fragrant Rancher Europe there.
I think so, yeah. But first thing we're going to do is go here, because there's a little hidden object around here. This guy can be a pain in the ass to get him to do what you want him to do. Yeah, he's a bit of a pain. But like, what we ended up doing was, if you can sort of like get beside him and then try and sort of manipulate his tracking round towards the wooden block that's just behind me there, he will break open that, no problem. But like, yeah, there you go. You have to try and manipulate his tracking to do that for you, which is really stupid.
Essentially, you want to get him to just start the attack animation facing you and then run around behind him. Is it? Like,
yeah,
basically, you know.
Try and lead them there. So
that way you don't block his attack.
Yeah, so there's a few items here, but it's like the old knight stuff isn't entirely great. I think it's the old knight pike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not even a pike. It's a halberd, if I'm right.
I'm pretty sure that is true.
Which, I mean, its name is a lie in and of itself. So. But yeah, so a little chest here, and this is actually going to take us back round to near enough the bonfire we were at, just before we dropped down.
Yeah, there's like 2 holes here which have an item in them. Both items, it's like there's like a soul here and there's another soul in the other one. The items aren't particularly worth the poison really, but in case you need them, obviously we're going to get them. But
you can see if you're quick enough.
Yeah.
If you're quick enough, you can get there and back without any sort of without being poisoned. So that's why I didn't even bother resting at the bonfire, because I didn't use any Estus, I didn't need to use any moss, so there's no reason really to use it, because it just respawned that guy up top.
So this place is quite important because it has large Titanite shards in it. So this is the hard area of this area.
Yeah,
so
this is the only area you'll ever have any difficulty with.
You're going to need to get your kiting abilities on, really. Because if you just try to fight these guys head on, they'll all just gank up on you, and then you're not going to be able to take on 4 of these guys at really any skill level or soul level. So.
Yeah, now these are the exact same guys that you fought in Huntsman's, but the difference is that these ones also drop dark resin now.
These ones are also a little bit tankier by the looks of things.
That's purely due to area advancement, I would say.
Yeah, they definitely feel tankier, that's for sure.
They are. They do take a little bit more effort to kill. But now, if you stand in here, by the way, in this little corridor part, you are safe.
Yeah.
If you go to the back of that, they won't even bother you. They'll just lose aggro and go back to their little cubby holes.
So you want to use that to your advantage.
Yeah. So if you do need a break, because you can't go back the way you came, if you do need a break, you need to go in here.
So we're just gonna basically try and get one at a time, and then just, you know, poke away at them until they're all dead.
Yeah.
Which is the strategy we're using. I mean, obviously, if you've got a better strategy, then, you know,
yeah,
feel
like
free to do that. But
if
we like
your
to play
build
it safe.
is different, like if you do have some high damage range, like I don't know, maybe you've got sorcery, maybe you've got a good bow, something like that, then by all means, yeah, just take them out whatever way you please. This is just the way that we're utilising to take them out right now, because the longsword's pokes are amazing.
And it's safe, definitely.
Yeah, it's nice and safe. Like, you can safely get like a poke in at the start of their attack animation and make it out before they're able to hit you as well, like right here. No. I was about to say like right here, but never mind.
Well, like what you saw just before that one specific time.
Yeah, like before Dark Souls decided to go, yeah, fuck you. But yeah, so you don't really have to worry about like these guys all too much, because they're not difficult. Like, they do hit hard, but
one at a time,
provided you're careful, then you shouldn't really have any trouble. Now, what is actually in here is actually quite a lot of spice, if I remember rightly.
There is a few spices.
Which will come in handy like later on in the game. They do, basically what spices do is it reduces the faith or int requirement of the spell, miracle, pyromancy, in fact pyromancy don't even have a requirement, so never mind, hex, that you do want to use. It reduces the int and faith requirement depending whether it's simpletons or depending whether it's skeptic. Of course, simpletons is for intelligence and skeptic is for faith. I think they're quite aptly named.
And there's a large titanite, but you can only use these items at Magerode. No,
yeah,
not Magerode. Is it Magerode?
Yeah, it's Magerode Lanafair.
Who's in Ironkeep. So you can't use them for a while yet.
Well, you can use them in a couple of areas time, so don't worry about that.
So anyway, moving on, we've got another crystal lizard to take care of.
So you gotta put on your lizard smasher, you gotta put on that large club or the mace or whatever you want to use.
Okay, so initially you can see that you can use the mace here or any kind of slam attack. If our mace was more upgraded, would have killed it in one hit. But we don't have a more upgraded mace and we didn't want to use the resources on it, so because we've got the stats, we're going to switch to using the large club.
Yep, you can two-hand the large club at the stats that we've got anyway.
Yeah.
Because you've got 16 strength for the Drangleic shield, which means that your strength while two-handing is 32. And this one has a 26 requirement, so that's perfect. So just having a look, see which moveset is the best. So obviously it's the two-handed slam that we want. So it's the two-handed running attack, and then you follow that up with an R2 if it is still alive, which it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it is, then the R2 two-handed is a slam, so you can safely take out the lizard.
So let's see, it is very effective at taking care of the lizards. So we're going to move on from here.
Because now it is to move on to. I mean, technically the bit. Well, he actually did come down there. Well, fuck me. Then I guess I'm lying.
That happens very rarely, by the way. That never happens.
That shouldn't happen. But basically, what you'd be looking to do, because he's already de-aggroed, he's gone now. But now we're going to go into what is technically very slightly. There's an area just ahead which is technically very slightly Earthen Peak, but we're going to go into it anyway because we want to go through and beat the boss. Because the boss is fucking easy.
Yeah, not only that, we don't really classify Earthen Peak until after the boss.
Yeah,
it's not really fully in it. And you'll see, if you're playing the game, you'll kind of realise what we mean. So
yeah, it's like the boss isn't difficult anyway, and like the boss is sort of just around.
So run in here, grab
human effigy,
that stuff.
Large shard.
Now,
or large soul, that might have been. I can't
again, you probably want to take care of this stuff while you're still poisoned or whatever, just so you're not wasting moss. But basically, I guess the quote-unquote easy way of doing this is grab this one here,
which is chameleon.
Then just run past these guys, grab that, and then that's you done. There's only 2 items down there.
Like, if you run between those guys, both of them will fire at the same time. You should be relatively safe. I mean, even if you do get hit, it's fine. You just drop down, grab it, collect your soul packet, because I mean, it's not as if you're that far away from the bonfire. You're literally 2 seconds round the corner from them. Yeah,
I mean, fighting one of them is easy enough, but if there's 2, then it might be a bit of an issue, because when you're trying to avoid one, the other one's throwing a big orb at you, which you really don't want to deal with. Now, these are undead steelworkers who can drop Titanite shards.
I'm bringing it up now. They can drop Titanite shard, old mundane stone, and they can drop smooth and silky stones, the small variant.
Yeah.
Small, smooth, and silky. So they are quite rare drops, but they drop Titanite quite often, so that's not a problem.
So now we are coming up to a kind of special thing.
Yeah, it's the sunlight altar. Now, I'm sure loads of you guys will remember the Sun Bros from the first Dark Souls game.
So quickly going over this.
Rank 1.
It's basically just the same. So as soon as you
if you join, you get the Sun Seal.
Yeah.
Which slightly improves miracles.
Then when you get to rank 1,
it's Sunlight Parma. At rank 2, you get the Sun Sword, and at rank 3, you get the Sunlight Spear Miracle.
Now, how is it you rank up again? Is it just help people?
It's Sunlight Medals.
Sunlight Medals, yeah. So yeah, it's just exactly the same way as in Dark Souls 1, you just rank up and Sunlight Medals. Again, we'll go into more detail in the Covenant guide, we just want to quickly touch on the Covenant now, just so you know it's a Covenant, etc. But, we're not going to go into detail because that'll be its own video.
And of course, that's where you get the Praise the Sun gesture, as you've probably seen in this video.
Yeah.
But now we've just got to take out the last of these undead steelworkers, because
a point to be made here is when you're walking into that area that you just saw up there, don't rush in, because that steelworker will just smash through the poison pot and will poison you.
Yeah, if you get covered in the green gloop, you're gonna get poisoned.
Yeah, so you want to go up to the entrance, bait him out, and then just poke him with your weapon. So by that point, he might be poisoned as well. So
now you shouldn't really have too much trouble with these steelworkers. Like, by this point, you should be comfortable enough at rolling that they're not going to give you any hassle. They are quite slow. Their attacks, they telegraph them way too fucking long.
Yeah.
You're not going to be under
backstab them really easily.
You're not going to be under any pressure really. Now this is a ring, if I'm right.
Nope. Estus Flash Shard.
There is a ring here.
Yeah, it's the poison bit. No, it's not a poison bit ring actually.
Is it blood bite?
I don't know.
I think it's a resistance.
There's a ring in here anyway.
Yeah. So there's a Faris contraption, but these guys should be quite easy as well. I think these things are actually weak to fire, but I mean, you one-shot them by this stage with any weapon anyway, so who cares?
So this is one of the Faris contraptions that we actually want to use. There's a few in the game which we don't going to bother with, but we want to use this one because it gives us access to an item. So.
Which I am sure is a ring. It should be a ring. I think it's Ring of Resistance.
Oh, it's a poison bait ring and a soul packet. So now I guess the poison bait ring would have been more useful had you got it before the area that you just went through.
Yeah, because after Harvest Valley and Earthen Peak, there's not a
whole lot that poisons you actively.
Barely any poison to deal with.
But regardless, it's probably more there for PvP builds or whatever. So So there's like one last little challenge in terms of PV that we need to deal with, and that's doing a crazy jump. One of the infamous Dark Souls platforming debacles.
It's just a pain in the ass.
So to take care of these guys.
Now, on the test, I remember It wasn't even on the test actually. It was just on a random build. I was like, I want to see if I can make this jump. I remember dying to this jump like maybe 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah, it can be quite a hard jump. However, we do have it down because we're pro as fuck. But you know,
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, obviously. But the way that we do it, I've found is actually the safest way to do it. A lot of people tend to like run up the stairs and jump off the side.
There's basically this chest is basically worthless. There's only a torch in it, just so you know. So
yeah, so don't bother. But a lot of people do the sort of run up the stairs and then turn and jump like at the last minute. The problem with that is because you're running up, you might get the baby jump, and if you get the baby jump, it's ripperino. You're done.
Yeah,
it's GG. It's all over. Yeah.
So collect that spice there.
And be careful stepping out of this, just in case you overshoot the ramp.
Yeah.
But now we should be going for it.
You want to line your jump up. Now you don't want to. You want to basically jump directly off the corner and line it up with the entrance to the door.
Yeah.
The door.
Go right to the edge, 2 back steps, and that is plenty. And boom, there you go. Like, don't backstep a third time, like, because you've seen there, like, when I backstepped the third time,
a little bit.
It's sort of slid me back, and that would have probably killed me because I would have hit the edge.
But now, be careful here. There is a trap.
And there's loads of these little mankins here, which can drop the mankin claw.
Yeah, and I remember actually getting fucked up here after taking him loads of times trying to actually get the jump. I ended up being killed by the trap, so just make sure that doesn't happen to you guys.
Yeah, so just be very, very careful. I believe there's a crossbow.
Yeah.
At the end of here. So that was a Titanite shard and a soul packet. But this should be a +3 heavy crossbow.
Maybe. Yeah.
Boom!
Wait.
Boom!
Memory on point.
Yeah, at long last. And now, of course, the jump back's really easy. Just run and jump towards there. Like, as long as
you've got a wall to break your fall,
exactly.
So regardless, you're not going to fuck up. So now we're going to move on to the boss. Now, as you can see, this does kind of still feel like Harvest Valley. It doesn't really. It's kind of just like an entryway in Earthen Peak. That's kind of why we kind of lump it in together. It's just how we feel. But
just before you go into the boss fog, I'm going to tell you anyway. The boss's weaknesses are magic and fire. It has a strong resistance to lightning and it is pretty much neutral to dark, but it's an easy boss, so you shouldn't have much trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like we can't even give a specific strategy for this guy because of just how fucking easy it is.
Get here and wait and see if it does that, then you just got to move out of the way.
Yeah.
It's when it goes onto its side that you need to start rolling back because it rolls over. Now this boss has a unique ability in which that it has a grab attack where if it swallows you, it will unequip everything you've got and you have to re-equip it.
Yeah.
But don't worry, at first I thought it chewed the equipment and you lost it. It doesn't. They weren't that much of a cunt, but that is like its only hard thing.
I also think that
this is the role that I'm talking about. You've got to watch out for that. And if you stay out of range of it, it will do that. Which apparently, a few guys on Twitch have aptly named that as the YOLO fish.
Now, I'm pretty sure from my kind of testing, when it does its jump attack, it isn't unblockable. So kind of watch out for that. Yeah. But aside from that, you're not going to have an issue with this boss.
And for the sake of completeness, when it comes to this boss, there are pots up above you that you can break with the iron arrows, and they release little like undead soldiers into the fight. The covetous demon will lose all focus on you, and it will go straight for them, but it is incredibly buffed while it's eating.
Now, you want to exhaust Lucatiel's dialogue here,
as per usual,
and that way you'll get.
By this point, you have spoken to her 3 times, so you will get the Ring of Steel Protection +1.
Not only that, the covetous demon soul, you can trade that to Strayed for the bone scythe.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
But I mean, both are bad.
Scythe. Yeah, both are bad.
Like, you can either consume the soul for like 16,000 or you can trade it for the bone scythe.
Honestly, you're probably better consuming it because scythes are bad in this game.
Yeah, 10 times over, consume it.
So, the fact that you spoke to Lucatiel there, she will now show up for the Smelter Demon fight, which is one of the fights that you can do with Lucatiel.
You really have to be on point for the Smelter Demon fight though, because it is one of the ones she is more likely to die in of the 3 that we are going to do.
We don't summon her for the Rotten because it is almost impossible to keep her alive for the Rotten because she just runs into the fire and kills herself.
Yeah, she's a fucking idiot.
So basically, you summon her, she kills herself, and then you've got a buffed Rotten to deal with, so just don't bother.
Yep, but no. Alright, so that's us back in Majula. Now, we have an Estus shard on us that you guys definitely want to use right now. Get yourself 7 Estus in total. Now, we've got a Sublime Bone Dust in our inventory, but don't worry, that's because we didn't burn it at the last one.
Yeah, we just forgot.
We do have 2 builds, remember, so if we did burn it at the end of the last video, it was on the other build, not this one. So, at this point, all you're going to want to do is pop all your soul packets and get ready to level up, because Earthen Peak, environmentally, can be a bit of a pain. But I mean, the boss you won't really have much trouble with, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, so
It's just the same as last time, more health, more stamina, just keep going.
Yeah.
Because soon, the build will change dramatically.
but
the
in
build will change.
not the next video, but the video after the next video, that's when we do a little bit of tweaking about. So as you can
Twerking
see,
about.
we're at quite a high level at this point.
39 health, 33 stamina.
That is pretty much down to the coveted silver serpent ring, which you really kind of want to utilise if you're doing PvE. Level up as quickly as possible. You might as well make it as easy.
We're pretty much going to wear that ring for most of the playthrough.
Yeah.
Because it just, once the build hits like level 100, 120 is when we'll stop wearing it, because after then it's just extras.
Yeah, so that's just us popping our sublime bone dust.
Yeah.
So you don't need to bother with that. And I mean, that's pretty much it.
That's
Harvest
pretty much
Valley
it,
is
yeah.
a piece of piss.
Relatively easy area, like you shouldn't have that much problem there anyway.
And
And
that's
these
the
are the
build
final stats. So we're at 37 health and 35 stamina now. So there you go, guys. That pretty much settles how good this build is.
So that's it for this video.
As ever,
If you want to watch the Huntsman's Coats video, click the left box, and if you want to watch the
Earthen Peak, Earthen Peak,
Earthen Peak, click
Earthen
the right
Peak.
box.
Yep, click the right box. Now we do have a donation link down in the description below if you guys are interested. But a view, a comment, like whatever it is, it's perfect. That's more than enough already. Don't feel obligated. And of course, links are on the screen for Facebook and Twitter, so you can keep up to us. We update them regularly, and Twitch for the live streams, which are the best place for you guys to interact with us because we can do it in real time, and we do read all of the chat.
Yeah.
All the time.
So I mean, that's pretty much it. We hope you enjoyed this video. We hope it was informative, and we will see you in the next part.
See you guys later.
Bye.